Okay, so for today's video, I'll be talking about my thoughts and my opinions regarding the SM's new group, NCT, and just gonna expand talking about the members, the songs, the reasons why I think the whole group is structured this way, and what I can see from SM in the future regarding on what they're gonna do with their artists and this group especially, because they're obviously gonna try to make this group as big or bigger than EXO, especially with the amount of members that they're planning to have. So, okay, so let me get to the members and my thoughts and opinions regarding each person. So, first we have Tae, and Tae is, I think, the oldest member in the group, and he is, from what I've heard, I think it was Aggie's video that I watched. He was the one that was added last, or like very recently, to the SM rookies. So he, like, from what this, I didn't make a video instantly after they debuted because I really wanted to see how the members interact with each other off stage. So I watched the V Live thing app where they. It was kind of like a little bit boring, but you get to know a little bit more about the members, and you see how they interact with each other when in interviews. So I watched that. So Tae was added very recently to the whole lineup. So you can tell that he's really awkward with the other guys, because the whole interview thing that they had with Heechul was that they were supposed to make each other's profiles, and he seemed not to know much about the other guys, and then it was definitely like obvious that he was awkward with the other members. So that's just one of the things I caught when I was watching that. Apparently he's supposed to be like the main vocal, or like the vocalist of the group. I really haven't heard much from him, because usually SM, when they debut a new group, they always showcase at least one very good singer, and then in general they usually have two good singers that carry the group, but one very good singer in their groups in general, and they showcase this before debut, or during their debut song. So you can really tell, like, from examples like when Soyeonde debuted, Taeyeon, Jessica, Sohyun were the ones that were carrying the group vocally, and then Jessica and Taeyeon were giving really high notes, and Taeyeon had the huge high note, and that made the song stand out. It's pretty much well known that she was the main singer of the group. And then you have like Red Velvet with Wendy's Shine On Me part in Happiness, and Jonghyun in Replay with his high notes like near the end of the song. It's like a structure that SM has when they make new groups. They usually add a very good singer into the group. Then an EXO, you see this with Baekhyun, Chen and Dio, and their parts in Mama, and their pre-release tracks. It's from SM Town's supporters, or SM stans. I don't know what you would call what I would call the SM supporters, I guess. We know that it's a thing that SM usually adds a very good vocalist to the groups to just make their songs stand out, and when they're performing on stage they don't look like idiots, because there are members that are useless. So when it comes to like the music part and the singing, in terms of singing, so apparently he's supposed to be like the vocal star of the group. I really didn't see much from any of the two songs, so I can't really base off anything about him. So hopefully, if he's still in the whole rotation, or he remains in this group, because I'll later explain how this whole thing kind of works. from what I read. So hopefully we get to see him showcase his vocal abilities. And then we have Taeyong, which is the most controversial member of NCT. He had a scandal in the past with like a scamming people, and then he insulted and pushed fans in the past. So he has a really superiority complex to him, and like you can really tell because I guess he kind of knows that he gets special treatment for his looks, and usually fans really get charmed by looks, so they could care less how they're treated, but you know. So with him, I think he's the best dancer in the group. From what I heard, he definitely stands out. I actually, he caught my eye very early on when SM was teasing this whole group, because he was introduced very early on the whole SM rookie thing, and he really stood out because he looked a little bit similar to Jejung in some of his facial features, and SM really likes the whole flower boy look, so this is definitely why they picked this guy to be in the group, and why they have been promoting him hardcore compared to any of the other members. In terms of supporting him in the future, you know, I think everyone deserves a second chance, because, you know, everybody makes mistakes, but I'm not like defending him for what he did before, but you know, he has apologized, but that's not enough for me. Like, I really need to see some change regarding his like whole actions, because on top of that report, he has been like, there's videos of him shoving fans, and comments on him like just being rude to fans in general. So I don't think that's a good thing. So if there's more reports of him being an a-hole, like that's just gonna put me even off more. Like after that, I am not gonna support him. So right now, I don't like him, but I don't dislike him. I'm kind of like waiting to see what he's gonna be like, because you know, he might be changing after this whole thing and after the whole response, because everybody right now, well, a lot of the fans in Korea haven't gotten over his whole scandal, and you know, but I'm gonna give him a second chance, but I am gonna be very looking closely how he interacts, because when on the whole V app, you can tell he is pretty much like the boss of this whole NCT group. So I just gonna have to see, and I think it's kind of funny for this international fans he has a lot of international fans, and when it comes to these groups, I know like K-pop is majority of the fans are not even mainly into the music, how they get into K-pop first, but most of it, like the cute looking boys or the cute looking girls, like that's like how most people get into K-pop. So this guy has been getting like a lot of support when a lot of these fans really don't know much about him. They just think he's cute. So if you stand this guy, or if you like absolutely adore him, look more into him and then make your second judgment, and then wait and see if he's gonna keep doing this, because why would you support someone who's like that, you know? So that's my thoughts on him. Then we have Doyoung. For him, I really have nothing to say. He doesn't stand out. He's a little bit boring. He's supposed to be like the other vocal of the group, but like I don't think he's like the lead or the main, but probably after that. He has a sibling in Astro, but you know, SM probably put him in there for a reason, but didn't really stand out to me. He seemed a little bit boring, so sorry if you like him a lot. Then we have 10, and I actually like 10. He's one of the few ones that I like, or that caught my eye. I liked him before the whole debut thing. I was hoping he would make it because he, SM has never debuted like a member from a group that is from Thailand, so it's interesting to have a Thai member. So he's really funny, and he seems to be great at dancing, so I really want to hear what he sounds like when he sings regularly, not like rap talk like he did in the Seven Sins song. He's probably my second favorite in the group. Yeah, he seems to be getting a lot of support as well. So we'll wait and see what he has in store for the whole this whole NCT thing. And then we have Jaehyun, which is my favorite one. If I had to pick one, my bias in this group, as of right now, since I don't really stand NCT, but you know, I'm giving them like at least a little bit of interest, since they're probably gonna be everywhere by in 2 years. SM's gonna make this group the next big thing. He seems to be a good singer. When I watched the live performance of Without You, the song isn't really vocally difficult or anything like that. He seems pretty good. Nice personality, good at dancing. Yeah, he seems to be the one to get my attention the most. I can really see him being an actor though, and like in the future, I can really see him in some dramas. So that's him. And then the last one, the maknae, as of right now, is Mark. And sadly, Mark is probably my least favorite one. I like Mark, but I don't think he fits in this group. And the reason why is just he just seems like really awkward. And he's still quite young. I knew of Mark before he debuted with the group as well, because SM had this whole the SM Rookies thing. I didn't fully follow it, but from what I've seen, he was one of the ones that probably, in terms of this lineup, he's probably the one who got the second most exposure after Taeyang, and he got a lot of fans internationally because he speaks English, and I think this is why SM debuted him in this group very early on, because they usually add a member who can speak English, or who can either speak English or no. They usually add like a foreign member that speaks English. So Mark, I guess, is the one who fits this whole category. So it's kind of weird why they would pick him, because he doesn't seem to stand out at all. He's not bad looking, but compared to the other five, I guess he's the least good looking. Other than that, he's probably the most boring one. He probably has the second most fans in the whole group, because again, he had all these exposure and he speaks English, so usually the English speakers get a lot of international fans. Other than that, I really have nothing to say about Mark. I hope that maybe in the future he showcases that he can sing really well, but I don't think he's gonna do that. But you know, hopefully he proves me wrong, because from what it looks like, this group doesn't have an extremely good vocalist. And usually, I don't know if you've stated, I probably said this in the video in my Q&A. I like in groups, I usually the ones that draw me in the most are the vocalists, since I got over the whole phase of the looks in K-pop, so I focus a lot more on the songs now, because I now I don't really have time to watch variety shows and stuff like that. So I really wanted this group to have like a very good singer, so the songs could be at least bearable to listen to. For the songs, nothing special. The Seventeen song was following the whole trend that's going on right now in Korea, with Jiko, Crush, Zion Dean, charting well with their whole trap, hip hop, R&B type of sounds. It's really interesting since Korea is, well, usually they follow like trends that come out of here, so you can really tell that their K-pop is heavily influenced by American music. So for the people who are like, oh, K-pop is like a whole different genre, K-pop is like just kind of, it's a mix of a lot of American stuff. So that's why this track reminds me a lot of what's been popular here for the last 2 years. The song, nothing special. It's really flat, but it's really catchy. The open your eyes thing gets stuck in your head. And then the other song, Without You, I guess I liked it. I probably would like it a lot more if I listened more to it, but I really haven't gotten the time to check it out. Because I wasn't drawn to it. But I guess the debut was really weird because it's so messy, because there's like members in the MV that are not singing in the track. So okay, so now I'm gonna move on to why SM is trying this whole format of rotating members, and that's why I have these two albums for these two artists. So we have EXO and then we have Super Junior. So as some of you know, or in general everyone knows, EXO has lost 3 members and Super Junior has lost 2. So they lost Hangin, who's a Chinese member, Kibum, who just wanted to get out of the group to move into acting, and then we have Tao, Chris, and Luhan, who are the Chinese members of EXO-M or EXO. So SM has gotten quite in trouble or in a mess with the Chinese members because they promote a lot in China, or they want to promote a lot in China because in general the Korean audience doesn't really support a lot of the foreign members as much as the Korean ones. So they need money. So I cannot go against like Chinese members promoting in China, because if they're not supporting you in Korea, like at least try somewhere else. So they're trying out in their homeland, and they're probably a lot more comfortable because it's their native tongue, and they understand the culture a lot more. So that's why a lot of these members are leaving, and then this whole the contract mess and everything. So in order to avoid this, they have this whole rotation of adding and removing members. But I guess that's a solution, but also a problem, because in K-pop groups you are drawn to that specific member that you get attached to. So for example, for me, for Super Junior, like I'm really attached to Donghae, Yesung, and KRY and Donghae. So if I don't get to see them in a comeback, I'm a little bit upset. So, or if I don't see Lay or Baekhyun or Suho in a EXO song or a music video, I'm gonna be upset. So obviously, if you're really into the group, you buy everything regardless. But you get put off on actually buying the physical copies or buying the digital track, because you don't get to hear your favorite members sing. So the whole NCT thing it's kind of goes against the whole having your that one member that you like the most, because out of nowhere he can be gone, and you don't really know why, because they can either want to leave or it's them just kicking them out. So, so that's the sad thing about this whole NCT thing. And then it's obviously a replica or a copy of the whole AKB48 format that has been in Japan for like, I think, over 10 years now. So it's really obvious. So a lot of you who don't know how AKB48 works, I know a little bit, so I'll explain what the gist of the whole AKB format is like, which is very similar to understanding the NCT format of what SM is trying to do with this whole 40 members plus thing. So AKB48 first started out with I think it was the 48 girls, and they're based in Akibara, and there are other sister groups that are like in China, Indonesia, and other cities in Japan. And by the way, AKB48 does not only have 48 members, they have more than 48 members. And then they have like variety shows where you really get to know a lot of these girls, and fans vote to whichever member they want to see the most. So you get to see that member the most in the promotional periods of the singles they release. So that's why when you watch AKB48 videos, I don't know if you have ever watched, you get to see a certain girl very often, or certain girls that are always shown, and those are the girls that they get voted the most. So on top of that, their fan base is not teenagers or little girls, or little boys. It's mainly older men that buy their stuff. But this is how this whole thing has been kept alive, because I know teenagers, they have limited amount of money they can spend on. They don't work. They just get some money from their parents. So when you have these old men who have a lot more money to spend, they are the ones who go visit AKB at their AKB theater, which is like, I think they have a daily show or a show certain shows per week. So they actually have a location where you can go see them perform, see the units perform. It's a huge structure. It's a really long video to make, and I don't even know everything about AKB48. So and then when you buy the singles, you get special event cards where you can go to the meet and greet. So that's another intensive to go actually buy the physical copy of a single to meet the girls. And it's really nasty because when they go shake their hands, and they're pretty perverted. It's really weird. Certain members are showcased a lot. So it kind of sucks for all the other girls who are in the group, who don't get any type of much of attention. So this is, now you can see this why SM is pushing Taeyang so much. So that's a little one of the similarities I can already see going, that they're gonna push certain members a lot on people. So NCT is supposed to like debut in cities and countries and have units, but you know, if it's gonna be rotation and all of that, it's just gonna be way too confusing to keep up with. So I don't think it's gonna work. They're probably, if it doesn't work, they're probably gonna I guess kind of do if not a morning musume type of thing, where you add members and stuff, and then until they want to graduate, I guess. So I think that might be one of the solutions to this. But then again, we've seen this with After School, and you know, you get tired of it. So I hope that they just let this idea go with wanting to have so many members, because it's just too difficult to keep up with.